This, getting rid of. When your life changes, your planner has to change too. And my life has changed a ton since 2024. So this year I'm making one tweak to my traveler's notebook that I think is going to make a huge difference to my productivity and time management. I'm going to go ahead and put together my planner with you today for 2025. And along the way, I'll talk about how the change that I'm making is going to impact my time planning in the new year. I'll also talk a little bit about my general attitude towards productivity, which is probably not what you think. So 2024 was the first year that I used my traveler's notebook as my only planner for the whole year. And while I do not think what notebook you are defines who you are as a person, I have discovered that I'm really enjoying being a part of the community for traveler's notebooks. I feel like this notebook kind of let me into a secret society that I didn't even know existed before I had it. I got into a conversation with some women at the airport because of my notebook. I made a connection with a person at my urban sketch group because of this notebook. People who use traveler's notebooks just notice other people who use traveler's notebooks, and that has been a lot of fun for me. That's not the reason that I use this planner, though. I use this planner because I love how customizable it is, and it just really suits my needs for what I need to have in the notebook that I carry with me every day. This is my everything notebook. So let me show you what I have in it this year. This first insert is where I keep my notes. And this is really where I take notes from videos I watch or books I read, where I make any lists I need to make. Really anything goes in this notebook. It is really a notebook for notes. I also have a little insert here, a fabric insert just to hold some cards and stickers and things. And then the second one is my daily journal. This is really a daily log. I just go in every day, I do some sketching sometimes, I log what I wore, what I did that day. Very simple, kind of a place for a little bit of daily artistic expression, but mostly just keeping track of my days so I can look back and see what I did last Thursday or what I wore on the first of the month. For most of the year in slot 3, I had my journal, which was like a long form journal for diving deep into emotional issues. But recently I replaced that with this more practical horizontal planner. And this is what I used all year last year for work planning and putting in meetings and appointments, where I could see what I was doing with a glance. This is where the big change for 2025 is coming in. This, getting rid of. I want to do more planning in 2025. I want to have a better idea of the hours available in my day, but I want to do that in the simplest way possible. So I am switching out that horizontal planner as well as a monthly planner that I have in a completely separate notebook, and I am replacing them both with this vertical planner. There is one reason in particular why I'm making that switch, and that's because vertical planners are great for time blocking. Having every hour of every day on my calendar allows me to lay out my days in advance, including chunks of the day set aside for deep work on particular projects. I have toyed with the idea of time blocking before, specifically 6 or 7 years ago when I was running my paper arts business. But this time I've been influenced particularly by one video by Ali Abdaal where he talks about his Trident calendar system. And that's a system where he works out his calendar in advance on a yearly, weekly, and daily level. I will link that video in the description. But Abdaal uses a completely digital system, which I totally understand and support, but is not for me. So I plan to adapt that to my hybrid system, where I create an ideal day time blocked in a digital format, and then apply that to my more messy and unpredictable life in my physical calendar. The key thing here is that the vertical planner opens up more time in the day visually. So instead of just having one event in the morning and one event in the afternoon, I'll be able to actually see the individual hours and how I can fit more productivity into the time that I have available. On that note, I want to step back for a moment. Well, I definitely want to be more productive and move forward in pursuing the goals that I've set for myself in the coming year. I want to be really clear about one thing. Your productivity does not define your worth as a person. For the last couple of years, I have been so busy coming to terms with emotional events in my life that I haven't been able to be productive at all. Almost all of my career-related goals were either put on hold or running on autopilot. I wish I had realized it and been more intentional about it. I wish I'd given myself time to grieve and heal, but instead I've been sort of running with the idea that I'm just not really good enough to succeed at anything. And that's kind of bullshit. How would my life have been different if I'd been able to fully acknowledge what was most important in my life at the moment and to say out loud that it doesn't matter how productive I am? So consider this 3 years of therapy boiled down to one planner strategy. But when you're blocking time, if you need a whole afternoon off to feed your emotions, own that. If you have to take a 2-hour nap to catch up on lost sleep every afternoon, just put that in your plan. Give yourself time for meditation and walks and date nights and field trips and whatever else you need to make your life worth living. When I talk about time blocking a day, I'm not talking about filling every hour with work. I'm talking about being aware of every hour that exists and using it to the best use for you in your life. I'm hoping that for me, this vertical planner and the time blocking system changes the way that I visualize my days. In the horizontal planner, I threw it away. I pretty much had a few things scheduled each day, and then it would look like that day was full. The vertical planner, it's just a different way of visualizing days. It's a small shift in format that leads to a big change in perspective. So for 2025, I'm keeping my main notebook. This will be replaced as it fills up each time. I'm also keeping my insert, and I'm keeping this log of my days, although I will replace this with a fresh one. The third insert in this notebook, the Everything Notebook, will be the vertical planner. And as well as the vertical planner pages, that does include this space across the top of each week, which I plan to use for content planning, and this space down here that I can use for task lists. You can almost see these three inserts in the context of time. This first notebook is noting the present. The second notebook is looking back on past experiences. And the third one involves looking into the future and planning for it. I still do use a journal for deep diving. I'm just keeping that outside of my everything notebook because it's not really an everyday thing for me. This is hard for me to admit because I really do like to have one notebook for every single thing, but I also don't like the feel of more than 3 inserts in my traveler's notebook. It is already heavy enough for something that I carry every single day, so I can live without my journal in this notebook. If worst comes to worst, there's nothing that stops me when I'm out and about from just jotting a quick journal entry in this front notebook. As I said, I'm getting rid of the monthly calendar. I will use alternate layouts that are part of the vertical planner for the things that I use that for. This tiny monthly layout is actually really useful for just showing when I upload videos so I can see the big annual picture. And this 4 months to a page layout will be really useful for planning travel and seeing a whole quarter at a time. And there we have it. A new, slimmer, more robust system for 2025. Happy new planner month to all of my planner nerds out there. And until next time, I am wishing you love and joy and all of those good things. And I can't wait to talk to you again.